Oh, you can't hear the music. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's start. Let's try that again.
Welcome.
To the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 346 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. We're going to be live hacking on some Firefox, going deep into tests and strings and wide characters, and who knows what trouble we're gonna get into today. But it's gonna be fun. That's the name of the game. Let's start by sharing my screen. Yep, it's episode 346. It is November 8th, 2023. A reminder, no plant survives breakfast. I think I know how this stream's gonna go, but who knows? Maybe I'll have to restart it because I forgot the sounds or something. Like that happened at the beginning of the stream, and who knows, it'll happen again. Could happen. We don't know. I'm gonna do my best. This is there's not gonna be any edits. None of this has been pre-planned. You're just watching software development, like I like to say, it's in the raw. You're watching warts and all my process as I work on some stuff. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. Depending on where you are watching this stream, it'll be in a couple of different places. So if you're on YouTube or diode.zone, it's down in the video description. If you're watching this on YouTube, I just mentioned YouTube. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, it's over in the details section. And if you're watching this on Twitch, it's down in the channel details. Yeah, there's also a viewer-driven episode guide. I'll quickly plug that. If you have your own notes, addenda, or corrections, the episode guide is a great place for you to sort of like add your own notes, because it's a completely viewer-driven episode guide. You can send a pull request to the repository for each episode, add your own notes, corrections, addenda, expand on, pontificate if you'd like. Yeah, that's a resource for you and for yourselves in the future. And if you're watching this in the future, hello. Maybe there's an episode guide for this episode. We'll see. Okay, what are we up to today? Well, first of all, I want to do some Q&A because some questions had come in via the form. If you are interested in asking me questions, you can always submit. There's a rate this episode link at the bottom of the agenda. I always throw it in the chat at the end of the episode, and you can submit questions that way, and I'll do my best to try and answer them. This first one isn't really a question, it's more of a comment. So in the last episode, I was showing off a couple of, what were they, enums? They were some kind of enum related to, I don't exactly remember, but we were talking about strings, or we were talking about ways of representing numbers, and I thought that because what we saw was like, I think it was something like for you, something like that, for you 80 for you, something like that, or is it U4? No, 8U. Basically, I saw some enums last week. You can, I guess, watch the stream. If you didn't watch last week's stream, you can find it. And the enums were being represented using like the special way of describing numbers. Like, this is one way of doing it. It's just like, I think it's raw integers, 1, 3. I think those are signed, I suspect signed integers. And I had made the mistake of claiming that because one ended in a U, that it meant that it was like a hexadecimal representation of a number. And this person is saying that's wrong. It's not. It's just unsigned, not related to hex. And then they forwarded me this link where they talk about, integer literals and the different ways you can sort of represent them. And so a hex literal is whenever you have 0x and then some character sequence. That I understand. I recognize that. Octal is interesting because it's the digit 0 followed by one of these numbers. That's how you represent octals, is you start with 0. A decimal literal is a non-zero start. And then suffixes can have either uppercase or lowercase u to mean that it's an unsigned integer. And I guess that's something that like you might do if you want to like help the compiler out. and say like, oh, this is how many values can be represented in this chunk of memory. Because if it's signed, then you basically cut it in half, because half of them will be negative and the other half will be positive. So yeah, it's a way of saying here's an unsigned integer, I guess. Okay, well, thank you for whoever wrote that in. That's helpful. Excuse me. Okay, this was a question. Advanced usage of SearchFox. Is there any documentation on the search query syntax? I've learned that a useful query is calls to function name depth4 on someone's toots in Mozilla Social before. Sorry, I can't find the original post. Is there more? I didn't actually know this one. Let's check it out. So, SearchFox, calls to function name. Let's say calls to nsdoc shell, nsdoc shell. No? Calls to, let's find a function name. Set allow off. Sure. Does anyone ever call this? Actually, let's find something that has a C++ caller. WinUtils has registry key. Okay, so let's use that. Has registry. WinUtils has registry key. Depth 4. So I'm not actually seeing this. Is this... I've never heard of this search syntax before, but maybe there's some documentation here. SearchFox contribute. Here's the GitHub page. It can do regular expression matching. Path filtering uses globbing. Here are the things that are indexed, cross-referencing, syntax highlighting, source code. So this is the source code. So is there anything in here about, what was the syntax? It was calls to. Calls to. Oh, okay. So in the query string, calls to command traverse. Did I have to give it maybe the fully qualified, like, instead of calls to WinUtils has registry key? Was it? That was the one, right? That was the name of the method? Okay, maybe I have to give it like the fully namespace name. What namespace are we in? Namespace Mozilla widget? Maybe I have to give it that. Mozilla widget. No, I don't know. I don't know what this means. I don't know what calls to does. Let's try one more thing. Utils has registry key. So I noticed that looking at this, it's like there's some kind of context menu code that does some of this stuff. If settings.diagramming is enabled. Oh. Is that enabled? No, it's not. I don't know how one enables that. But I know who works on this stuff. This is Andrew Sutherland, who works on this stuff. I know he's a big fan of ways of like making the code easier to explore and work with. So yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing that the reason that there's not much useful documentation is that this stuff is very much still underway, still being worked on. But the person who works on it is Andrew Sutherland, and I can probably share his Mozilla Social account if people want to follow him, because he periodically he'll periodically post about this stuff. Here. All right, here it is. Follow. That's Asaph, who works on diagramming in SearchFox in his spare time as, you know, he's just really interested in that sort of thing. I think what you're pointing at maybe only works when diagramming is enabled. Okay. Not a technical question. Your Firefox theme looks great. However, the link to the theme may be broken. So, for example, in here, Mike's Firefox color theme. Oh. Where's my theme? It's not even really the theme that I'm using anymore. Where are my themes? Hang on. Let me tear this out to a new window. Where's my theme? My themes. Blue Shift. Oh yeah, this is my theme. I think you're right. I think the link is wrong to the theme. So what it used to be called Electric Boogaloo, and now it's something else entirely. So where's Mike's theme? Did I still have that in here? In episode 343. Do I have something in here about my theme? I'm so confused. Theme. Mike's Firefox color theme. It's right at the very bottom under Other. Under Other. Glossary. Links. Felicia Bacon, NBP. So, you know. Okay, well, that sounds like it's busted, and it needs to be this instead. But this isn't even my current theme. My current theme is... so let me update this here. Here's my current theme. Current theme. Electric... What was it? I called it Blue Shift. Blue Shift is here. Current theme is something called... This is one of the Firefox colorways that got eventually published to AMO, called Cheers Bold. Let's see if we can find it. Cheers Bold. Yeah, this is the theme I'm currently using. Current theme, Cheers Bold. You can install it there. So you can follow those links. Okay, that is a little bit of preamble. I've got a little bit more in that I have an extension that I work on called Tabertle. I don't know if you've ever, if anyone here has ever played Wordle before. Oh, I'm seeing some chatter. Hello, how are you doing? Some Vinitkime. I never remember how to pronounce your name, Vinitkime. Hello, Mike. How are you doing? And you jinxed it. Sound went the moment you said it. I still have sound here. I'm hearing him talk at least. Guess it was just me. Okay. Well, I'm glad it's all working. I'm glad things are still coming through. Okay. So I have a web extension I manage called Tabertle. I wrote it. It's a very silly web extension. Its job is to, if you've ever played Wordle, you know those grids that you'll get of like here's how I did, and it'll be like a couple of green squares, a couple of yellow squares, maybe some gray squares. Well, I wrote an add-on to have like a similar visualization that gets created, but it's based on the state of your current tabs. So when you click on it, it copies that to your clipboard, and then you can like paste that somewhere. So for example, if I paste that in here, it's not Wordle, it's just my Firefox tabs. Purple means I've got a pinned tab here, and then green means that they're fully loaded. And if I happen to have any like unloaded, because I can discard a tab there because I have an add-on to do that, and I do that again, then one of them will be discarded. And you can just kind of create a visualization like that, and you can paste it into Mastodon or Twitter or whatever you have. And someone has submitted a patch to do this, but instead of being restricted to just the window that you're in, it's going to look across all your windows. And that's their patch. I don't know if I do want that, to come to think of it. Because I don't know if that's as obvious. Like, the way it currently works is it'll always look at the window that you're currently, that you click the button in, and that's what it'll copy to your clipboard. I don't think I want this. I'm gonna say thank you. Thanks. I'm gonna say thank you. Thanks, Craig. This is from Craig, who might even be watching the stream. And if you're watching the stream, hello. Thanks for the patch. So I've been thinking about this a little bit. I get what you're aiming for here. A way of getting a representation of the existing tabs across all windows. What Tbertle currently does was kind of always my intention, which was to just copy the current Windows tabs into the clipboard, copy a representation of the current Windows tabs into the clipboard. Part of the reason of that, like, I think I'd be more willing to accept this patch if, like, it's supposed to be a snapshot of a window. Yeah, I think that was the aim. I'm trying to articulate this. Like, this is all aesthetics, right? Like, it's but I think I'm kind of happy with the way it currently works. I realize that's an aesthetic choice, subjective choice here, but I think I'm going to stick with it. Hope you understand. Thanks so much. Close. So much appreciated for the patch there. I mean, maybe we could make it a setting. Currently, I don't think Tbertle has any settings. I think it's fairly dumb in that, yeah, it doesn't have any options, but maybe we could make that a setting. Actually, yeah, here's what we'll do. Here's what we're going to do. Craig, hang on. Let's reopen this. Okay. Maybe, hold on. Maybe I was I rushed to close this. I'd absolutely accept this if we made it a non-default option and we had some ability to have people opt into it. If you're willing to either add a keyboard combo for this mode or an options page that people could turn this mode on, I definitely accept this. I definitely accept that. So let me comment like that. There we go. So then I'll go over to files changed, and I'm going to request changes. See commentary in the pull request. All right. Now, let's, we've done questions, I think. Oh, I found that the theme is can you share it again? Also, I've never known that the theme could also change the page's color. Found that while browsing SpiderMonkey Dev. Am I understanding this correctly? Themes are, I don't believe themes can change any particular color, but I think they can express to a web page that you are using a dark theme and that you prefer dark web pages. I think that's how it works. So they can't like a browser theme can't like change any color arbitrarily on any web page. I think what it does is some themes are light, some themes are dark, and using some heuristic, I think, using color sampling, or maybe it's even declared in the theme manifest. Maybe you can override it. I don't know. But a theme is evaluated as being a light theme or a dark theme. And then I believe that is expressed to a web page. And a web page, if it has CSS that can differentiate between light and dark, like spidermonkey.dev probably has a way of doing that. In fact, let's go check it out. Let's see what happens if we go to spidermonkey.dev. I've got a dark theme. This is what it looks like when I've got a dark theme. Now, what if I tell spidermonkey.dev that I have a light theme? Because that's the thing you can do in the inspector here. You can like force it. There's a button here like toggle light theme. Yeah, this is the light theme mode. I've like forced it to be into light theme. And this is forcing it to be into dark theme, forcing it to light, and then this is just whatever you have. So this is what, if I had a light theme installed, that's what it would look like. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Good job, spidermonkey.dev. It's a good way to sort of adapt to your user base. SmurfD writes, I saw you posted about the EIDAS. Is there a mail you can tip Mozilla Foundation about similar horrible things that might happen? You know, I believe this is the sort of thing that the foundation will often want to sort of tell people about. Let's see. Mozilla Foundation newsletter. I think you can subscribe to a newsletter here. It would this is the sort of thing. So I'm just going to put this in. Question. I saw you posted about EIDAS. If you're not familiar with that, that's a thing that's currently going on in Europe. And I think this is the place you can go to like sign up for a newsletter. It doesn't have to be in English. Here, I'll just remove that part. Okay, let's get back to Windows jump list stuff, because that's what we've been focusing on, and I want to make sure we took a good run at it. So if you recall, if you were watching last week, we'd reached a point where we'd realized that the tests that we'd written like a couple weeks ago, the G tests, weren't actually doing strings correctly. Like we weren't copying our strings correctly. I made a silly error, and I thought I could use like formatted strings during assignment, and I can't, or at least not the way I was doing it. And I'm pretty sure that if I run this, it's gonna fail, because I kind of rewatched last week's video, and I think that's where we left off, is that we have some failing tests, and I don't exactly remember the last thing that I did before that. I think we were like somewhere in here. In fact, like I haven't touched this Windows machine, so like this is the last thing we did, is like I added this printf, I guess. So let's link and see what happens. I'm kind of refreshing my memory. VA Demon says, imagine typing so fast but then clicking on the comment button. Well, I don't know, Mac users command enter. Yeah, I was a bit quick to hit send on that comment. I should have waited a second. Okay, so bunch of loggings going out, and here are our failing tests. And so populate jump list only task is failing because set app ID is being called, and I guess we didn't expect it to populate jump list only tasks. Uninteresting unknown file error. Uninteresting mock function call returning default value. This is a test description for an item. Length is 38. Generate this test task. Function call set app ID. returns 0. The descriptions matched one another, but it fails because of this. That we expected test back and set app ID to be called once, and it wasn't. Set app ID pointing to test application ID. So we're definitely supposed to call set app ID. I think we do it. Oh, when we construct the jump list builder. I wonder if we have a racy test here. Because what's happening is, like, as soon as you construct this thing, one of the first things it does is it sends a job to a background thread to do a thing, to set the app ID. And I wonder if what's happening is after we construct this stuff and that job is dispatched, when we run our test, we might be reaching the point where, like, we do some work over here. The other thread does call set app ID, but then we, like, if I move this back up a little bit, in fact, we can move all of this up, almost all of this up. I'm going to move this one thing up a little bit. I'm going to move it up right here. I wonder if that's going to get rid of that. If that's a race, I wonder if that'll help. When we can do that for the other places as well. That doesn't, like, you haven't fully eliminated the race, but you've made it a lot less likely to have the background. Oh, no, we've eliminated it by doing it, setting up the expectation before we run the construction. So that should eliminate it for this test. Let's see if that works. And if so, then I think we should probably use that same pattern for the other tests. While we're waiting, I have some news to share about something that we had been doing. Was it last episode or the episode before that? About NS main thread pointer holder. So we updated our stuff, our patch, to use NS main thread pointer holder for when we're passing the promise from the main thread to the worker thread and then back again for the resolution. And originally I thought, let's see here. Originally I thought the reason that we wanted to do that, I wrote that here, is because it was possible that the promise might get thrown away by the caller before the background thread has a chance to try and resolve it. In which case, I thought maybe the reference was going to get dropped, and then the background thread would try and, like, access a promise that had been destroyed, and then we'd explode, you know, or we'd go into, like, use after free territory. That's not true, apparently. So one of my colleagues, R.K. Rissig, writes, my understanding, based mostly on that comment and on the definition of DOM promise, is that it's indeed necessary, but not for the reasons stated here. Okay, so strap in. NS main thread pointer holder is needed because DOM promise, though ref counted, is not thread safely ref counted. When the promise is thrown away, it may collide with another thread's discarding of its ref pointer. So instead of, you might have, like, a ref count of 2, and then whenever one pointer gets if two of those ref counts, if two of those pointers go away at a very close to one another at the same time on two different threads, you could get into a situation where, like, they both see that there's, like, a ref count of 2, and then they both try and decrement it to 1, and then you have a memory leak. So that's the problem. It's not that we might accidentally uh, create the potential for use after free. It's a potential for a memory leak. This is more likely to leave the promise object improperly still live rather than deallocated early. Per the comment in proxy release, I think these should also generally be NS main thread pointer handle open square print or open bracket, or what do you want to call these, less than sign for brevity, which may silence the linter all on its own. And then there's a question here, which we should probably try and answer. So yeah, the linter, I think, got very upset at some point. Let's see where the linter is complaining. Is the linter complaining about something? I thought the linter complained about something. Yeah, there's... The linter is complaining about formatting. So hold on a second. What are you... What is the linter complaining about? Warning, this change does not follow. So formatting. Format. That's what it's mostly complaining about. What is... Per the comment in proxy release.h, I think these should generally be main thread pointer handle such and such. Thread pointer holder. The semantics of ref pointer, NS main thread pointer holder, T would be cumbersome, so we also introduce NS main thread pointer handle T, which is conceptually identical. So the pattern is... Oh, so I don't have to do ref pointer, NS main thread pointer holder T. I can just do... I can create a new NS main thread pointer holder. Something like... let's go to the... So instead of make ref pointer, let's see if we can find an example of what he's referring to. Yeah, this is what it's saying. And then as arguments go, self callback. So you can just like construct one of these things, wrapping it around something. In this case, it's our DOM promise. So we should take that and pass it around. Oh, I don't understand this self. What? What are you doing? Let's see an example of someone doing this with a DOM promise. Here we are again with... So I'm kind of doing that. Make ref pointer. So instead of saying make ref pointer, it's saying just create one of these. And have it wrap the promise. Okay, we can try and do that. Let's see if we fixed our test failure, though. What was the one we just tried to fix? It was populate jump list only tasks. That fixed that one. Let's update all of the places where we do that. And maybe what we'll do is we'll even add a comment. We set this up here, expectation here, because the test backend, because set app ID will be called soon after construction of the jump list builder via the background thread. Okay. So let's find all the places where we do this and replace it with this. Okay. And another one. Have to reset that stuff up. Somewhat repetitious. Some boilerplate. What you gonna do? And then we'll have this one with the comment. Whoops. Where's my comment? There we go. Okay. Now, what are the other failures? Populate jump list only custom items. Why did it fail? It's rather unclear. Failed. Custom items. So it failed because uninteresting mock function call. Oh, it's the same thing as before. Okay, so we might actually be able, we may have gotten rid of a bunch of these things. Let's try it. That's good, making our tests more resilient. Craig says, I suppose I have more learning to do about Firefox add-ons to get the patch up to snuff. You know, if you want to, going back to Tubertle for a second, if you wanted to fast track this, one thing you could do is, I know that we have an existing like thing that looks at whether or not you're holding down shift. If you're holding down shift, then it'll be for, it won't truncate the message that you copied the clipboard. So if we could do something similar where like we only add all windows if you have a different modifier. So if we look at web extension click modifiers, let's look at the keyboard modifiers on the click. So it could have shift, alt, command, control, or Mac control. Maybe we could add one of these. Like, what if command shift, or holding down command, is what makes it so that it goes across all windows? I'd accept that. Command, or that'd be, I think, meta on like the Windows keyboard key. The Windows key on the Windows keyboard, and command on Mac OS. That might be worth doing, and that shouldn't be too bad, Craig. Like, because you can use this as inspiration. Like if on-click data modifiers includes command, then do this work. Like recompute your windows and tabs. I think that's totally acceptable. I would accept that patch. What am I doing? What am I doing? Back to this. So our other tests are more resilient. That's good. And now we're getting to the more interesting stuff, I think. Truncated description. That's the test that we had written last time, and we expected it to pass. We're failing one of our expectations. Generated title, generated description, generate title, description. Google mock tried the following one expectation but didn't match. Expect call these things. Compared generate shell link to the definitions. Custom title also didn't match. One failed test. Actual function count called didn't. We expected append category to be called once and add user task to be called once and was never called. Interesting. So So we'd never even reached the point where we say whether or not the descriptions match one another. So let's go back up here to our matcher. This is the thing that is doing our comparisons. And let's just do some classic printf debugging. Comparing lengths. Printf count was and desk's length was and those didn't match. So count desk's length else lengths matched. Okay, and then for each description, we're going to say could not cast the item at that to a iShell link. That's I. Somehow got back a null. Got a null pointer at I after converting to iShell link. That really shouldn't happen. And then printf failed to get prop store on failed to get title on such and such, and then title we're prop variant to string, failed to convert variant to string, convert title to string on such and such. Then we'll say titles did not match. And then versus titles on did not match. And that is desk title get and title. Let's see if it is happy printing that. And then failed to get path on and then failed paths did not match on such and such versus s. So it's a desk.mpath.get and pathbuff. Could not get arguments on such and such. If arguments was passed, arguments equals arguments did not match on such and such versus and that's desk arguments dot value dot get and then args buff. Otherwise the arguments should be empty. Arguments should have been empty on I, but was not. And then down to the interesting part here. Getting to the description. Failed to get description on I. And then descriptions match one another. Let's see if that's enough to sort of like, let's not be full-blown completionists here. Yeah, I had to. I was giving a second argument to some constructors of functions which were expecting a size, and I think I addressed those. Let's double check. Let's maybe go through this stuff again. I was trying to, when I was constructing the short list descriptions here. Yeah, I was I was using like a second argument, and I think I've fixed those. Looking at these, I think I've fixed those. That was the problem. Okay, and so what the issue is okay, these all pass, and then we get to our truncate test. So it's never actually called. Did we never get to that point in our test? Truncate description. Construct. We call populate jump list. Okay, well, here we go. Populate jump list. Do populate jump list. Do we get here? And then there's the thing. Where did we do the truncation? Truncate max path. This happens whenever we construct the shell link from the description. Okay. And that occurs inside populate jump list. Okay. Well, here we go. Printf doing populate, do populate jump list entered. And is it saying add user tasks is never called? Add user tasks. Expected call unsatisfied. So we never reached there. We have some task descriptions. Let's go. Creating a shell link. Adding object to collection. And then adding user tasks. Now, if we ever bail out, that would happen here at the rejection point. Rejecting. All right. Otherwise, if we resolve, I expect us to get all the way down here. Exiting do populate jump list. This is very mysterious. Not least of all because I picked the wrong terminal there. Yeah, thanks for trying that out, Craig. I appreciate the patch always, and obviously no rush. It's a silly add-on to Bertle. This is just a silly thing. I saw someone else had written like a snippet to we're not even building. That's the problem. Hold up. So warning, and then an error. I'm missing a semicolon on line 57. I gotta say, that is a huge foot gun. That the test it'll still look like it ran even though the build failed. That's a foot gun. We're gonna figure this out, people. I can almost taste it. We're right at the finish line. Warning, 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 warning. Just warnings. We can survive these. Linking. We're linking, people. What are you linking about? Abe linking over here. Okay. Aha! So that, okay, so count was 1, desk's length was 2, and those don't match. So we expected 2 to go in. Count is how many... Oh boy. Shell links. Creating a shell link, adding object to collection. Creating a shell link, adding object to collection. Adding user tasks. The count was 1. Somehow the count is 1? I remember. Okay. The issue is that I think there was a reason why we were making it so that these things had like indexes put into them. And it's because I think that the Win32 API, the collection is keying off of something like the URL or like the title or something. And so if they match, then it doesn't get added alongside. I think it's just like thrown out. So if each of these things match, then it's no good. That's why we had to that's why we were putting in those new numbers. That's why we're putting in the numbers. So I want to try, I think it was someone had this idea. Could I do it this way? Could I do a literal, like a tuple? I don't know if this will be acceptable, but let's find out. It was like, I think this may have been Smurf D's idea, that if I go like U title equals this, and then whenever I do assign, can I do the same thing? Item. And then I'm going to put this at the beginning. This is for task for item I. Think, and then let's see if this works. I don't even know if that would compile. I don't know if that's how you had the same issue last time. Can you maybe remove the test binary before running to be sure it is built? Good question. This feels like something worth filing. I'm gonna add an item here. Make it so that if G test fails to build, that the test will fail to run. I think that's worth doing. Okay, still failed, but it's for different reasons. That looks like a smiley face. That looks wrong. Titles on item 0 did not match. Generated title. Let's see what the generated title was. Yeah, generate this. I don't think this is working. Okay. I need to find how to do interpolation better. Undo, 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 undo. Let's figure out how to do interpolation. Assign case sensitive. Ooh, NSPrintf C string. That looks like, that sounds familiar. It's kind of an old school way of doing it, but I think that's what you're supposed, that's maybe the thing to do. Mozilla internal string guide. Derived from SC string, behaves like an S auto C string, construct a string, printf style, format string, parameter list. Okay. Let's try this. NS auto string title. Auto string. Task. Let's just see if that'll compile. What theme are you using in Sublime? This is the default theme, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is the default theme. Smurfd points out this. You should be able to do this. Can I just... I guess I could concatenate. But I don't think I can... Will it accept concatenation with a number? I can concatenate strings. Can I concatenate it to a number? I mean... Generated title. Did this build? I got a feeling this didn't build. Yeah, again, it didn't build. I just happened to catch it that time. No matching. Oh, because it's a C string, and it's printf C string. Printf. I need to convert a UTF printf string, printf C string, and then there's like conversion functions. Append, copy. as convert UTF-8. Ooh, append printf. That's append int. Maybe that's what I want. Append printf. Append printf. Yes. Yes, this is what I want. This is what I want. Now, how do I... What's the way to do this? Auto string title equals test task. And then title append int I. Okay, and then there's our generated title, and then description, and then assign printf. For item append printf. Append printf, not assign printf. Append printf. Right? Okay. And then description is append printf for item I. What do you think about that? What you think about that? Now you. I feel like I made that Spice Girls joke a ton of times. I apologize if you've been watching this stream forever. You've probably heard me repeat jokes and catchphrases so many times. I apologize. Anyone who's known me for any longer than like a month or two will hear me repeat ad nauseum things like, "What you think about that? Now you know how I feel." Okay, now it's really complaining. That's interesting. It's like this one complained so hard that the test didn't run. Which I guess is good. No matching constructor for auto string. Oh, right, because I had to put a U in front of it to indicate that, hey, this is a Dilio. That was an error. Remember, reference variable title. It's not a pointer. Title is not a pointer. Right. Then error. Cannot initialize a parameter of type const star with a value L type. Can initialize a parameter of type const char star with an L value of type const char 16t. Passing argument to parameter format. Oh, wait, what? So this one doesn't expect. Okay. All right. I guess that those shouldn't start with those. All right, let's see if that's any better. So someone writes, Mike karaoke stream when? Maybe right now. Let's see. Let's sing a song.
At first I was afraid. I was petrified.
I don't even have. I don't remember the words. That was the worst karaoke ever. A lot of warnings. I can get by with warnings, but we're Lincoln. Here, let's try another karaoke. What's any requests? Any requests? Okay, now what are your problems? Okay, that's good. I'm seeing the right. We're getting what we wanted, which is numbers being inserted. So it's still the same issue, was that the counts are wrong. That's very strange. Am I doing it wrong down here in this test? So we create a shell link to populate, adding an object to collection, add another object to collection, we adding user tasks, we're comparing the lengths. Count was 1, descriptions lengths was 2. Those don't match for each of them. Count was 1. Why do we do this? Count was 1, desk's length was 2. Why are we doing this 4 times? Count was 1. Have you fixed both test cases or just one, since you made a copy of the old test case? I don't know what you mean, Okris. Tell me more, because maybe you have a good nose for this stuff. So what? Tell me more. Both test cases are only just one, since you made a copy of the old test case. Tell me more. Also the title. Well, you didn't write this test case from scratch. Yes. Tell me more about what you mean by fixing it. Append category. So the issue with length should be in both. Length and formatting. Both are using, maybe I'm misunderstanding, both are using this utility called generate Windows jump list shortcut descriptions. And this is where I've made done a bunch of logging. So I think I can get rid of all this logging now. This is where I've done all of the adjustments for length and whatnot. And this should be used everywhere, not just in, like it's used in jump list only tasks. It's used only custom items, populate jump list, truncate description. Well, that's why. Oh. Again, why four times? Comparing lengths. Okay, well, one thing I want to do. Depopulate entered. Creating a shell link, adding user tasks. One thing I want to point. Oh, we do exit here. Exiting do populate jump list here. It's doing the comparison. Anytime add user tasks is called. Which should just be the once. Adding user tasks. The number of tasks is I, and let's get the count. Did not match. The counts don't match. Count, so we get the count. uint 32t. P task array get count. uint 32t count equals 0. More printf between comparing and counting to figure out why it's run 4 times. Comparing and counting. Whoops, couldn't save. The user map section open. What? What do you mean? Couldn't be saved with a user map section open. I guess maybe it was compiling. I've never hit that issue before. Good job, Sublime Text. Okay. Do populate jump list. Truncate description. Do populate jump list. Do we have a task description? Let's go. Shelling, adding object collection, adding user tasks. The number of tasks is 1. Aha! So that is the issue, is that for some reason, when we do this, adding object to collection, creating a shell link, adding object P to collection, get shell link from description. Something wrong in here? description was buff. Add user tasks is called twice. No, it's called once with an object collection that claims that it has a size of 1 when we know that we've added 2 items to it. Right. Line 533. Object ref pointer link.get. It's a memory address. wprintf? Yeah, okay. I mean, let's see if this compiles. Let's see what happens first. Yeah, it is a wide characters. Not my favorite. I get it. Lots of characters. Some of them need to be wide. But they're all ASCII for our purposes, so okay, fine. wprintf it is. Am I truncating them wrong? Copy. Description, get, buff, max path, get the description. Check all calls to assign, make sure I don't give them a second argument. All right, hold on. One thing at a time here. Printf, we've got this buff. Would you be happy if I did this? Doing? What am I doing? I need right. It's the same issue as before. wprint and I think I have to put U in front of it, right? To say, hey, be advised, right? Or L? Does it want L? That's what Oncris says. Let's see what happens whenever it tries to do its thing. I haven't saved yet with the L prefix. Okay. 16T. Okay, so we made it a little bit better. But L, I guess, is C for wide. Good job, C, C++. What a silly industry and a silly language is C++. Good job. Tonight I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive, and the world is turning inside out. Yeah, I'm floating around in ecstasy, so don't stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a... Whoa, what's this? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, truncate description. We have task descriptions. Creating a shelling. Final description was this. And then it's like these weird characters at the end, which to me is like, uh-oh. Didn't get null terminated. Yeah, that's what Ocris were let's copy. Description. Okay, here's what I think I'm gonna do. This is all quite silly. I think what I want to do is create a new auto string. Desk with limit, truncated desk, description. And I'm gonna copy a-desk.mDescription to it. Now the reason I can't do this to a-desk.mDescription is because that's a constant. I can't change it because it's a constant. So I'm gonna create a copy, and then I'm gonna say truncated description, truncate max path, and then can I do this? Truncated description. Def. I always convert. Oh, Craig's trying not to laugh while I do antics. Let me see if I can make Craig laugh. Let's see. Do I have any good jokes? Okay. Two hunters are in the woods. Oh, hang on. 758. Truncate description. Don't get. Right. Two hunters are in the woods. And, they're out there in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, great joke. Data Colin's like, great joke. Nailed it. Hold on. Hold your applause. Two hunters are in the woods. They're way out in the middle of nowhere. They're just outside of cell range, but they've still got signal. And all of a sudden, one of them just keels over. It goes like, ah, and falls over. The other freaks out. He's like, oh, what do I do? And he pulls out his cell phone. He's got one bar and he calls 911. he's like got his rifle, his hunting rifle on his shoulder, and he's talking to the 911 operator. He goes, 911 operator, my friend, we're hunting, and my friend just keeled over, and I think he's dead. And then the 911 operator goes, well, is he dead? Are you sure he's dead? And then the guy on the phone goes, okay, hold on just a second. He puts the phone down, and then the operator hears, blam, blam, blam. And then the guy goes back on the phone and goes, okay, he's dead, now what? That's the joke. All right, cannot convert trivial types to variadic expression. Oh, wait, I did this wrong. I need to do it this way. .get. Smurf D liked it. I'm going to retroactively apply or forward port your great joke, Danny Colon, and assume you also liked that joke. I don't know if Craig is laughing in his office. Here's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing Craig like exhaled through his nostrils. He was like, when he heard me do that. That's my guess. That's the that's the level of that joke is my guess. We're linking exactly that. Nailed it. When people say LOL, which is supposed to stand for laughing out loud, I think it really should be ETMN, which is exhaling through my nose. Oh, now we have a crash. That's interesting. Didn't we deal with this before? Truncate. Extra longer. The new length must be less than. Become longer. Maybe I have to only if. Okay. If truncated description dot length is greater than max path. And then truncated description is not a good, I'll call it desk description copy. How's that? Oh, Craig was holding it in. He says he would have laughed out loud if he were alone or in a place where it doesn't make sense to be randomly laughing. Okay, so here's my goal for the next 2 minutes is to make Craig laugh out loud, hopefully not get him in trouble at work, but he'll make some noise so that someone in his like office is like, what the heck? What is someone having a great time? That's my goal. So I'm going to do an impression of someone in Craig's office. I don't know Craig. I don't know anyone in Craig's office or wherever Craig is, but I'm going to do an impression of someone in that office. Hey, Craig, what are you watching over there? You watching, hey, what you watching? You watching someone working with some C++, doing some strings? What's that all about, eh? There. I don't know if that made you laugh. I don't know if that's even close to anyone who's in your office. Okay, so we've bypassed the crash. Description buffer, F. Failed on truncate description again. But for Different reasons. Description buffer F. Description copy. How do I copy? How do I copy NS auto string? Copy a stir, which is some NSA string or reference. M description. Maybe it's this. Do I do that to get a copy of it? Hopefully I didn't get you in trouble at work, Craig. I hope you didn't happen to like unplug your speakers while I was doing that impression of someone in your office, and then they heard it and it was exactly what they sound like, and they're like, "Hey, is that me? Hey, how did you get a recording of me? How come my voice is coming out of your computer now?" I noticed that Craig is not typing anymore, so maybe he's been dragged away from his desk. Maybe they've handed him his pink slip. They're like, "Hey, you no making fun of. We heard the voice. We heard the voice. Can't do that." See what is going on here? Description buffer is truncated description. That's working. That's working. Okay, that's working. Truncated description is working. Added object, 2 items, good. And then when we look at the description buffer, description buffer, if desk m description equals expected, so we're failing here. The buffer, printf description buffer, description expected, desk m description expected. For some reason, m description is empty. Descriptions match one another. We're going long, gang. We're 8 minutes past the half hour. Normally, I would end it right around here, but I am determined to figure this out. I will figure this out if it's the last thing I do. If it's the last thing that I do. I've got a lot of cups around me today, cups and pop cans, so that's why I'm being extra silly. It's because I'm uber caffeinated. No more caffeine for Mike today. Yeah, I can't believe, like, I'm like this. I'm like this. I'm freaking out. My heart is gonna like blast out of my chest like a cannonball. Okay, descriptions. When we do it right, comparing descriptions match one another. Description buffers T, expected blank, and then they apparently match one another. I am skeptical. expected. Desk buff, W char T, desk buff. Link, get description. If it doesn't equal description. W printf. L. Do that. Instead. So someone came to my desk to ask a question. I didn't take out my earbud. I was hearing you mic one ear and then the other. Good thing it was a simple question. I'm glad I didn't get you in trouble, Craig. That would have been devastating. But what was the person who came to your desk? Did they sound like this? Oh, hey everyone, I got a question. I got a question for you, Craig. Do you know anyone who's wrestling with strings in C++? So I've got a friend, a very close friend, who might even be watching the stream. I don't know. Probably not. I suspect he's at work. And we play D&D together. Okay. Maybe that's fine. And anytime he does voices for characters, he's got a couple of go-to voices, and one of them is this voice. I don't know, you guys. This guy. And I love it. It's one of my favorites. Like, we'll be playing D&D. We're going around in town. We're just talking to, like, some townsfolk, and that's what they sound like. Oh, hey, how's it going? Welcome to town. Truncated description. That's all right. And then lengths match, comparing lengths. Description buffer expected. That's good. For item 0. Oh, they do not match. Look. 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 They actually don't match. Is it because the last character will be the null character? Is that it? Oh boy. Is that it? Expected. I think that's it. Let's find out. Off by 1. He's working with Pee Wee Herman. Yeah. Hey, shout out to Pee Wee Herman, R.I.P. You know, Mona Silence for Pee Wee Herman. What a genius. But yeah, Pee Wee Herman. That's who Craig sometimes works with. That's my guess. I don't know, Craig. I don't know your workplace. Maybe you're surrounded by people who sound like this. Hey, Craig. I'm joking. We did it. We figured out the problem. Off by 1. The last character. Okay, when you have a buffer, a string buffer, I think what we have here was a sort of a confusion between like the gecko strings and like native layer like W char strings, where when you set the length with a gecko string, one of these things over here, you are, when you like, you're setting the total length of the string, not including the null character. And I think when we're over here and we were copying the string, when we truncate, I believe Yeah, set. That's the difference. It's the difference between set length and truncate. You'd think they'd refer to the same thing. You'd think it'd have the same. We got rid of this part. Why would they be so confused? Well, they are. I'm not going to look too closely at it. Let's clean this up. Let's clean this up. I'm sick and tired of this bug. Let's clean it up. Printf. Let's get rid of all our printfs. We'll run our test again. We're going to format our stuff. All right. I keep going to the wrong terminal. I'm just going to exit this one. There's no difference between truncate and set length. Truncate just checks that the length is not greater than the current length. Right. Right. But why? This would be empty. Description. Again, wrong one. So here's what I'm still mulling this over. Like, why do I have to change the description length to be max path -1 to match so that we truncate to the same length? Why? Why do I have to use -1 here? Truncate. Set length, new length. Why? It passes. As you said, otherwise it would use the null terminator as a character and not match? Is that it? Except that, like, it uses set length under the hood. It's the same thing. Truncate and set length are the same thing. Preserve length, preserve, start bulk, right, finish bulk. Let's become min. We get the minimum of length, the set length, or the total length, and then we start a bulk right, impl length, preserve. It doesn't make me feel good when I don't understand this stuff. Capacity does not include room for the terminating null character. That's important. Capacity is greater than 0. Buffer is immutable or 0 sized. Capacity is less than, so we're shrinking. Inline buffer. We're not, I don't want to increase the capacity. New capacity. Okay, well, before we've got our test passing, I'm happy with that. Let's see here. Just for my own curiosity, the task description length is task desk m description length. Then over here, description copy length is copy. Have a string of 10 characters and set its length to 5, then try to compare the same 5 characters. Yeah, okay. I mean, we could do a little test here. Test that. Truncate versus set length. All right. Fine. You want ZU? You got it. And then over here, do you also want ZU? I'm going to presume so. Okay, let's do a test. We're going to create an NS auto string. T equals 1, whatever, just so it is happy. And then as auto string copy equals, okay. And then I'm going to description.truncate max path. set length max path printf description copy. Oh, hold on. The task description. Right. Description copy length is 260 after it was sent. Task description length has been truncated to max path -1. But up here, the length is different. The lengths are different. If I truncate this to -1, 2, will it still pass? Greater equals. Sorry, yes. Greater equals. Thank you. Is it possible that it's not gecko, it's this shell link thing, that the limit is max path including the null terminator? And so whenever I was doing this copying and truncating to max path, that doesn't include the null terminator, because we just read that up here, that capacity does not include the room for the terminating null character. And so we're losing that one character here whenever we write into the shell link. That's my guess. Error. Cannot do all this fun stuff. Okay, that's fine. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm going to disable this thing that I was trying to do. I think we may have figured it out. I think that's what happened. And that makes me feel a lot better. That what we are hitting is a mismatch between how Gecko's strings deal with capacity and how a shell link string deals with capacity, where a shell link's maximum length includes the null character, and a Gecko string, the maximum length is not including the null character. And that is my guess. if this passes, let's go home. We nailed it. We figured it out, gang. That was the issue. That was the issue. So let's write that down. So truncate. According to the into buffer max path, still sometimes too large. We truncate to max path -1 to leave room for the null character. To leave room for the null character. To max path -1, since NS auto strings don't include the null character in their capacity calculations, but the strings for iShell links, the string for iShell link W description does. Don't include the null character in their capacity calculation of the string knowledge. So by truncating to max path -1, the same string, the gecko, the contents of the truncated, the full contents of the truncated gecko string, NS auto string, will be copied into the iShell link description buffer. All right. We did it. We did it. Yes. Yes. Okay. It's 3:03. I'm sorry. We're gonna wait one more episode to get this all cleaned up. I think what we can do though is we can clean up the formatting. Let's mock. What do we have with hgdiff? Oh, we can get rid of this too. We don't need that anymore. Oh, isn't it nice to figure stuff out? Feels good, gang. All right, this shell, I'm just going to close it. And, okay, so we got rid of that thing. We put in our nice documentation. We added a new line there for some reason. Matropy. Let's get rid of that. We added our new line under that, so we can get rid of this. Got rid of some printfs. Cleaned up a bunch of that. Move some stuff around. Put a new line at the end of the file. Okay. Amend. And now, mock lint outgoing fix. Fix my formatting. I do want to do the thing that RK Resig was talking about over here, where we change, I guess we change some of this to so we just use like a new NS main thread pointer handle, and do we want to assemble? Do we ever assemble the argument string from parts? Do we just receive it from the OS and treat it as opaque nonsense? In the former case, arguments in the WebIDL should probably be a DOM string, and we run it through make command line. That may be a separate bug, though. Yeah, we'll disassemble the argument string from parts. I'm pretty sure jump list builder, whenever it creates the args, set arguments, test args. We just, like, we do it manually. Task args. And over here, arguments is just the URL. I agree, that might be a separate bug. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it there. Fixed a bunch of formatting stuff. Let's go ahead and absorb. Is it gonna know? Oh, good for you. All right. That's good. And I'm going to call it there. Hey, thanks so much for watching episode, whatever this was, 346 of The Joy of Coding. That was pretty interesting. We figured out a race in our test. We fixed that fairly quickly. We figured out what was going wrong here with our comparators. It turns out there was a mismatch in our understanding between how Gecko strings and string buffers on iShell links calculate length and capacity. Gecko strings don't include the null character in their capacity calculations, whereas, like, I guess iShell link string buffers do. And we looked at a patch for Tibirtle. I answered some questions. What a great day. Wow, feeling good. Vielen Dank. Hey, thanks for watching episode 346. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you thought. There is a form at the bottom of this episode called Rate This Episode. I'm actually going to drop it in both chats right now. Rate this episode form. This is how you can let me know what you thought, or if you have questions. Maybe, did you like the funny voices? Did you prefer if I didn't do funny voices? What'd you think, Craig? What'd you think, everybody? You can send messages to me this way, and you can also ask questions, and I'll do my best to try and answer them on the next stream. And I will hopefully see you then soon. Take care, everybody. Have yourselves a great week. Take care of yourselves. If things are getting cold, stay warm. If things are getting warm, stay cool. And I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.
The joy of coding.
See ya.